Welcome to another GL Communications product demonstration video. This is a continuation of our PacketExpert series, which is our hardware platform for advanced Ethernet and IP testing. We will demonstrate multi-stream traffic generation and analysis using PacketExpert. A stream can be defined by many different parameters, such as source and destination addresses and ports, payloads, frame sizes, bandwidth, protocols, and so on. In this simple example, we will generate 3 separate streams of traffic of varying bandwidth. PacketExpert will connect to a switch and send UDP packets from port 1 to port 2 of the same PacketExpert device. Port 2 will operate in loopback mode and swap the source and destination MAC and IP addresses and UDP ports and retransmit back to port 1. We will measure throughput, frame loss, latency, and other statistics for each individual stream. The parameters for this test are as follows. Each stream will contain identical payloads. To distinguish the streams, we chose different source and destination UDP ports for each stream. The only significant difference between streams is the bandwidth. Make sure the application is set to multi-stream traffic generator and analyzer. Okay, so I like to just have one window open at a time, so I'm just going to do that right now and resize some windows so I can see a little better. So let's quickly configure port 2 first. Double click Loopback Configuration and select Smart Loopback. Smart Loopback means that it'll automatically swap the Ethernet and IP addresses and UDP ports. Next, let's configure the interface for port 1. Double-click Interface and set the hardware MAC address, IP address, and other information for port 1. Similarly, for port 2, hit Interface and configure the parameters for the interface of port 2. Verify that the LED is green, indicating that the link is operational. Okay, so now let's define our streams. Double-click Stream 1, and let's just go step by step setting up the stream. I'm going to use fixed size Ethernet frames of length 1514 bytes, but of course this is configurable. You can use a mixture of different frame sizes. So we're going to send Ethernet frames with IP and UDP packets, so ensure those items are selected. Configure the source MAC address, that's the MAC address for port 1, and the destination MAC address, which is the MAC address for port 2. We're not going to have any VLANs here. Configure the source and destination IP addresses. For stream 1, the UDP source and destination port is set to 10,000. Our payload is just going to be a simple, 12AB hexadecimal pattern. You can put anything you want here, and it'll just repeat this payload over and over again for the size of the frame. To set the traffic rate, click Traffic, and then for stream 1, we're just going to have it at 1 megabit per second. So now stream 1 is configured. Double-click Stream 2, and a simple thing you can do is hit Copy here. Select the source stream to be Stream 1, the destination stream to be Stream 2, and hit Copy. This will automatically copy all of the parameters from Stream 1 to Stream 2. Now, all we have to do is change a few things. The UDP ports have to be different, so let's change that to 20,000. And we're going to change the traffic rate from 1 megabit to 10 megabits. Similarly, for port 3, I already have it configured. It's going to transmit at 100 megabits per second, and the UDP source and destination ports are 3000. Everything else is the same. Next, click on Stream Selection, and you see that I've selected stream 1, 2, and 3. All these other streams are not selected, they're not going to be part of the test. we're only going to send 3 streams. And you see the frame size for each of the 3 streams is the same, but the rate is different. And now we are ready to begin the test. Click Apply and Start. So now let's look at the results we're interested in by clicking Multi-Stream Traffic Generator and analyze our results. You see we have 3 streams here, and let's look at some of these statistics. The first one, FL count, that's frame loss count. So for all the streams, we don't have any loss of frames, and so therefore our frame loss rate is 0%. So that's a good thing. IR stands for information rate. If we look at the average information rate, we see that it's almost exactly what we set it to be. So this gigabit switch is able to process all the different streams at the rate we set. FTD is frame transfer delay. It's basically the latency going from port 1 to port 2 and back to port 1. And this is measured in milliseconds. So you see that the frame transfer delay is 41 microseconds. FDV is the frame delay variation, which is under 1 microsecond. So we're basically for every stream, the latency is the same. It's spot on at 41 microseconds. So this tells you that this Ethernet switch is able to process these streams with no problem at all. Let's look at the graphs to see this visually. So double click IR graph, which stands for information rate. And you see we have 3 different streams. The red is stream 1, green stream 2, blue is stream 3. So we can of course uncheck a stream to stop it from displaying. And you see that the throughput we're getting is exactly what we set. No problems, no drop in throughput. It all looks good. If we look at the latency graph, all of the lines actually overlap. So if I unclick stream 3 and if I unclick stream 2, all of the lines overlap. The graph duration can be changed. We're just plotting over the last 10 seconds, but we can change that to like the last minute, all the way up to the last day. This test can be run indefinitely without any problems. The PacketExpert device is extremely stable. It doesn't overheat or anything. So if I click 1 minute here, we see that now we are plotting over the last minute, and again, there's no delay, there's no variation in the latency at all. If we double click the variation graph, again for all 3 lines are here, they're all at 0, so there's no variation in the latency. And again for the frame loss ratio graph, all the lines are here at 0. So everything is good with this switch. So this is multi-stream traffic generation in PacketExpert.